Hello and welcome to this week's vlog as part of my Moroccan tour series. You joined me on the TGV train travelling from Casablanca to Tangier, as you can see here. These are the outskirts and suburbs of Casablanca as we head to Tangier, and the land changes as we go along. It was really fast. Unfortunately, there was another passenger in front of me and she had a cat in her backpack. And we were on there for about 2.5 hours, so it wasn't the most pleasant of experiences, but we move. As you can see, the landscape changes as we go through, and we were heading towards Tangier. Now, Morocco is going through a lot of reconstruction work at the moment and construction work because they are preparing for the Football World Cup in 2030, where they'll be sharing the World Cup with Spain and Portugal. So you can see a lot of cranes here in this particular clip, and they are building different football stadiums across the country. So we saw a couple of those as we were travelling through. At this point in my holiday, I had joined Intrepid Travel as part of their Best of Morocco trip. So I didn't really get the opportunity over these couple of days to video record. I wasn't on my own a lot of the time. So you will see that I am not in this particular video as much this week. As you will see, we're going to travel through Tangier, Chefchaouen and Fez on our way through on our Moroccan tour. And as you can see, as we're approaching Tangier, we are also near to the sea. Hello and good afternoon from a supermarket car park in Tangier. Just crossing the road, thank you. Oh man alive. So it's been a bit of a busy morning, had a nice breakfast at the hotel. Traditional Moroccan breakfast with like peppers and goat's cheese, it was good. I think this is our minibus, I hope it's our minibus I'm walking towards. The driver's disappeared. Anyway, we've just come to the supermarket to get some picnic provisions. But everyone else is still inside, so I'm just going to video as you do. Yeah, I think it's that one. Group are really nice. We're getting on already. I mean, we're going to have to because we're going to be together for 2 weeks. But everyone's really sound and really cute. So we got the high-speed TGV train this morning from Casavoyages in Casablanca to Tangier, and then we've just, as we've got off at the train station, met the minibus driver, and he's just brought us about 10 or 15 minutes inland, and we're going to have a picnic in the park. But I left my free Intrepid Travel tote bag that they've given us in the minivan, so I'm now juggling food and the phone at the same time. And I can't get my sunglasses off my head. So things are going well. So having a picnic, and then we're having a orientation walk, I think, around Tangier, and then we've got a couple of hours to do our own stuff. So it might be go to the Casbah, go to Medina and so on. I'm not sure what I've decided yet. It's definitely warmer here, and hopefully you can see from the blue sky it is sunnier. So that's good. It's about 28 degrees at the moment. So yeah, things are going well. My roommate Denise is really nice. We're getting on really well, and she actually works in schools as an audiologist, so that's cool. We can talk about school even though we're on our holidays. But yeah, it's different vibes here. There wasn't that much to do in Casablanca, so I think another day and I would have been pushing it a little bit, to be honest. But yeah, it's really cool, it's really nice. Just trying to see if my group are standing outside the front door. Everyone's still shopping. God knows what they're shopping for. You know, you just kind of think, oh, what do I get? I've got two apples, a tomato, some cheese, some crisps, and like those tartar pom things that you get at home. And the guide Hitchum is buying water and bread. Again, I've left my fork and my spoon in my other bag, so I'm going to dig that out in a minute. But yeah, all in all, a good, what's this? First proper day with the tour group. As there was a lot of time on the minibus, we stopped off regularly for different toilet breaks and coffee breaks and things. This is where you can see us here, where the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean meet. It was very windy, it was very blustery. I thought you can see in the distance here, but you can't. It's a bit of a hazy day. At this point here, you're actually 15 miles away from Gibraltar. So that was really interesting, but apparently it was a hazy day. As you can see, the water's quite rough on the rocks here. And we did have the opportunity to go to the caves of Hercules, but I decided against it. Hello from the Atlantic Ocean, where if it wasn't such apparently a hazy day, you would be able to see Gibraltar, as it's 14 kilometres away. But you can't today. It's nice. There's the caves of Hercules down here, but apparently it's a little underwhelming. So yeah, we've just stopped off just to see the viewpoint basically over the Atlantic. I'm going to turn around now so you can see. It's nice, nothing major. So yeah, I've just been down there. Just walk back up now. It's nice just to have a little break, stretch your legs though, because we've been on the train obviously this morning and then the minibus for a bit. This is more like it in terms of weather. Where we have arrived in Tangier, a city in northwestern Morocco, which was on the coast of the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean, like I just mentioned. It is Morocco's second most important sort of business city behind Casablanca, and Tangier's economy does rely heavily on tourism. If I was to go back to Morocco, I would definitely go to Tangier. You can see the walls there, the entrance to the Medina, and off we go again. You join us the next morning here, Denise and I, my roommate, on our sort of 6 a.m. photo opportunity moment. She's a girl after my own heart, and she said she was popping down to the Medina, so I said I would go with her to explore the Blue City, which was absolutely wonderful. People ask me if this was my favourite part in Morocco, but how can you ever choose your favourite part of a holiday? There's grapes up there. The camera just panned to grapes up there on the vines as well. In Chefchaouen here, we were about 600 metres above sea level, so we were gradually getting higher and higher as we went through the country. And you can see in the background there the Rif Mountains that surround Chefchaouen. Chefchaouen essentially means look at the horns, the chef being look and Chaouen being horns, so it essentially means look at the horns, which I thought was a really interesting explanation of the name Chefchaouen. Later that morning we went on a 3-hour hike above the hills of the village of Chefchaouen, or the Blue City of Chefchaouen. It was absolutely amazing. You can see here some really fantastic panoramic views, and we hiked up to the Spanish Mosque, which is where I'm taking the video here with the pink flowers, and then we hiked a little bit higher up and we enjoyed mint tea at a very remote hillside farm. After successfully not being overtaken or trampled on by a herd of goats, which was really strange at the time, but a fascinating part of the experience. Hello from Chefchaouen. Lots to catch you up on. Been a bit of a crazy 2 days. I've not really been by myself, but yeah, what is there to say? So we left Casablanca yesterday morning. We went on the TGV train, like the fast train, which cuts the journey from Casablanca to Tangier down from 6 hours to 2 hours and 10 minutes, so it was fast. And when I've been to France, I went on the TGV train, so that was really cool to go on one of those again. Then we had lots of stops, and we got on the minibus, and the driver took us around lots of different stops on the way, loads of lovely views and stuff. And then we went to the supermarket and got a picnic, and that's where I spoke about last time when I was in the car park. We've seen the border between the Mediterranean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. That was a little underwhelming, but it was beautiful anyway. And then we had the picnic and just over 2 hour minibus ride to Chefchaouen, which is where we are now. So it's known as the Blue City. But going back to Tangier, it was really nice, and if I was to come to Morocco again, I would go there again. It's the 4th biggest city in Morocco, and sorry, it's really hot. It's 35 degrees today. They have a big production line in terms of I would call them a Dacia car. They're trying to make as many Dacias or Dacias as they can, which is funny because when I got my car earlier in the year, I've got a Renault, they sold lots of Dacias and Dacias there. So yeah, that's quite cool. They're cheap to make apparently. So yeah, we were talking about that. We saw the stadium that they're building, which is possibly opening next year, but it's for the World Cup in 2030, which is between Morocco, Spain and Portugal. So that was cool. And then, what else did we do? What else about Tangier? It's just, yeah, it's a bit like Casablanca, but was much cleaner, much nicer. We went to the Medina. That was really cool. Went to the fish market. That was an experience. But when in Rome, you have to see these things. Yeah, that was really cool. And then we arrived here about 7-ish last night in Chefchaouen, otherwise known as the Blue City. So yeah, doing really well. Okay, so I'm currently out in the Medina. It is 5:30 at night and it is roasting. It's about 35 degrees Celsius at the moment. So I'm just taking a little rest before I walk back through. It was really, really quiet in the Medina. It's probably because of the heat today. It was not like this yesterday. So yeah, I forgot to tell you earlier. A guy walked past me. I was with the Scottish family, and he said 1,000. 1,000, he says, as he walks past. Now, if he means 1,000 dirham, I'm going to take that quite offensively because that's just under £100. I think I'm worth more than £100. If he means 1,000 camels, well, that's totally a different story. I feel like I'm worth a bit more than 1,000 dirhams. Just sitting outside one of the mosques. Excuse the sweat, you can probably see how hot it is. We are moving on tomorrow. We are going to Volubilis and ending up in Fez for 2 days. So yeah, it's like our last evening here. So we're going to go out for some tagine tonight. I'm ready for some tagine. An authentic meal, so that'll be good. Just a call to prayer there. So yeah, just walking back to the hotel from the Medina. See if I can show you a bit of a view. Bit of a different culture here in the afternoons. The women go to the hammam, the spa, and the men hang out, shall we say. Oh. Just back at the hotel in this little cute outdoor area. Whew, oh my god, if I didn't go out for any longer, it is hot out there. Whew. Do seem to be getting a bit of a tan already, so that's good. Wow, it's only going to get hotter. Got to get used to it. But yeah, I'm not really seeing anything I wanted to buy so far. But I'm glad I had another look, just to check. You don't know how much of it's Chinese tap, really. It's all the same in the different shops. You want something a bit more unique, which I think might happen in Marrakesh, if I'm lucky. I have changed my clothes, by the way. I feel like I'm wearing all of these t-shirts. But yeah, I will actually wear other clothes tomorrow. It's just easier with crop trousers. I'll see if I can show you. But prior to the trip, I bought 5 t-shirts in different colours, so it's just easier. But yeah, it is nearly 6. I might go and get my book. It is hot down here though. What to do? I forgot to show you what I bought today as well. I've made my first purchase from the Medina, and it is this cute little piece of artwork. And I thought that I could, you know, like put 2 pegs on the top and then like a little hanger and hang it with my photographs on the stairs. It is handmade. Mari got one as well. We did kind of pay over the odds a little bit for it. It was 100 dirham, which is just under £10. It's about £9. Is it worth £9? I'm not convinced it wasn't. Sometimes you have to like haggle, and well, not sometimes, you do have to haggle here. It's part of the culture, but he was very much like it's a fixed price, and you have to make that decision as to whether you were, let me put my arm down now, as to whether you're happy to pay that. And I was happy to pay that. You know, we're not going to come back. I think it's really cute. A lot of them had cats on. Cats aren't my thing, but I like this. That's a signature at the bottom, but yeah, it's something to remember the place by. I also wanted some postcards today, but he was charging 1 dirham, which is, oh, was he charging 1 dirham or 10 dirham? Was he charging 10 dirham and it was coming up at like £1 a postcard? Like, that's ridiculous. Some of them were like secondhand. So that was a no. But I can get postcards in Marrakesh and stuff, so I'm happy with that. Didn't have to do any bartering. It was a fixed price. And I hadn't really seen anything else like that. You see lots of fridge magnets and key rings and stuff like that, but just not today. And I'd kind of gone out for like some earrings. I didn't bring any jewellery with me on purpose, but I kind of want some Moroccan earrings, but couldn't find what I wanted. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. Where's it gone? So I'm going to put that away safe now to carry it all the way home. So you join us now back on the minibus. We are leaving Chefchaouen after a couple of days there, and we're still heading towards Fez, but we're going to have a little bit of a mini pit stop at Volubilis. As you can probably see from the videos here, the mountains are getting higher and we're getting higher and higher up. That's a really nice panoramic view there of a local town. Here we have arrived at the Roman town of Volubilis in the area of Meknes. It is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and actually it was really, really well preserved. It was absolutely fantastic. I just want you to imagine this fantastic, brilliant hour-led tour led by a guy who had a master's in history. However, we were in 38 degrees heat. So in the next clip, you're going to see me in Shelby's rave scarf, which she very kindly offered me just for protection for my head. Just believe me, it was extreme. On the road again. Here we are heading back on the minibus towards Fez, our next port of call, if you like, and our next city that we would be staying in for 2 days. We do quite a lot in Fez, so there's quite a few videos here of me showing you the different things, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But as you can see, the landscape's changing again. This was all part of the fun on the minibus. We had a couple of times where a few of us were feeling a bit travel sick, but all in all, we were absolutely fine. And the landscape of Morocco is part of what makes it as well. So as you can see here, there's just mountains everywhere, and it was absolutely brilliant. So we arrive in Fez. This is the view from our balcony from our hotel. It kind of gives you a flavour of what Fez is like. This was the new part. good morning from Fez. I'm looking much better than I did this time yesterday, where I was literally in survival mode and hoping that I wasn't going to be sick in the back of a minibus van. But enough about that, I can talk about that another time. We are here in Fez today, our first day. We're doing like a 9 till 4 mystery tour basically with our guide. We are at the Royal Palace, which is where the king stays when he's in Fez. Fez is the third biggest city in Morocco, after Casablanca and the capital Rabat. Loads of history here, so I'm really looking forward to today. I hadn't actually appreciated how much there was to see and do here, so really looking forward to today. It's going to be pushing 38 degrees this afternoon, but it's not quite there yet. So yeah. This particular entrance to the Medina here has been used for the Indiana Jones films, and when Harrison Ford At this point in the tour, we joined a local tour guide called Hadija, and she took us originally to this particular viewpoint here. As you can see, as the camera pans round, you can actually see the Medina of Fez. It's coming around to the right in a second. This is the new part here in front of you, and you can just see the differences between the new and the old parts of the town. On this particular day, we went to have a look at 3 different cooperatives. As you can see, we started at the pottery place first, which was really fascinating. As you can see around the courtyard here, the different stages of them making the pots. Here, this lady's painting the pot by hand. And you can see some of the designs here. These are fountains that you would have at home, just little miniature ones. And then we have got a large fountain here on the left hand side. As you can see, they are very intricately, they're mosaics. In the afternoon, we went into the Medina, and Hadija took us to this lovely Quranic school here, which was absolutely beautiful. We are at a Quranic school, which is more of a tourist attraction now. Just looking at the different architecture and everything. The mosaic floors. It's very dark. This is cedar wood. That's just the outside. Wow. And then you can see up here, there's no roof. Wow, this is amazing. You can imagine them living in the rooms here and learning everything. Yeah, pretty amazing to be fair. This is all cedar wood. Fez is very famous for its tanneries, so our second cooperative of the day was to a local tannery. As you can see here, the guys are dyeing the animal skin. The white one in particular, which the camera's going to pan to again now, is actually pigeon poo. And they get in there themselves, they get into the different holes and pummel the animal skins in order to dye the animal skins. You can possibly see the red dye there, that's poppy. The blue is indigo, the green is mint, and the yellow is saffron, which I found really interesting, but they gave us mint in order to protect us and allow us to smell the mint if we were struggling. I didn't think it was too bad. If you're used to muck spreading and manure in the United Kingdom, particularly in the autumn, then I didn't find it awfully horrendous, but yes, they do give you mint as you go in. And then as we went around and he was discussing the history and everything like that, we then went into the leather shop that they had there. You can see me with the mint there. We went into the leather shop downstairs and had a look at jackets and bags, belts, shoes, those kinds of things. Our final cooperative of the day was to the weavers, where a lot of us were a little unscathed and bought scarves and tops and bags, but as you can see, it was fantastic. This is Zaza juice. Hello and good morning from Fez, where we can see some delightful views this morning. It is 7 AM, so I'm looking a little rough. It's an early start today. I'm literally like 1 minute late for breakfast already. It's Friday the 18th of July and we're leaving in about half an hour, so I need to get a move on. But we are going to the Sahara Desert today. I've actually really liked it here in Fez. But yeah, it's a long drive, sort of like 7-8 hour drives with stops. And we're off to the desert.